Do you ever feel like manifestation is just another thing on your to-do list that you don't have time for? Like your spiritual practice is something that you have to do? Honestly, you're not alone because I felt that way too. Something that's really changed my relationship with manifestation is blending it into my lifestyle so that no matter what I'm doing, I'm also manifesting. I call this manifestation as a lifestyle, and it's single handedly made the entire manifestation journey more enjoyable for me. And I've seen my desires show up with a lot more ease. Manifesting as a lifestyle has made manifestation go from feeling like a task to something I just naturally do because it's who I am. If you'd like to learn more about this, I've created a step by step guide for you. I'll link it in my show notes so you can check it out. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict podcast with Pyle Corley. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and now it's time to get started. Hi, love. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my app, Affirm It. It's an app I've created to help you practice affirmations, manifestation, and spirituality. It has thousands of daily affirmations that you can affirm and swipe through, including exclusively curated collections for just what you're going through, from anxiety to confidence, to career growth to love, and so much more. You're going to have unlimited access to our library of meditations, visualizations, and our signature guided affirmations when you join. Affirm It is a place you can come to work on your self-improvement through our guides, practices, and journaling. Start your free 7-day trial by heading to the show notes and clicking the link, or go to your phone's app store and search for Affirm It. The subscription is just $4.49 a month, or $44 for the entire year. We can't wait to see you in the app. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Affirmation Addict podcast. Today, I am going to give you some tips for holiday season based on your manifestation archetype. So before you go into this episode, if you don't know your manifestation archetype, go ahead and take my free quiz. And if you have taken the quiz, but you need a quick refresher, I have 4 archetypes. You can be any of them at any point, and your archetype is allowed to change. So the 4 archetypes we have are the heart, the visionary, the dreamer, and the manifester. So we have all 4 of these archetypes. There's no perfect order. And they are all just different energy types, and based off of what season of life you're in, what your priorities are, you might be aligning with one archetype significantly more than the other. So depending on where you are in your journey and where you are with what's going on around you, I want to share some tips on navigating holiday season based on each archetype. And I always find that understanding my archetype and the way I work has helped me on my journey so much, because I'm just like, oh, that makes sense. I'm not alone, because it feels like sometimes on our manifestation journeys, we're not sure if we're the only ones. We're not sure if we're the only ones who feel a certain way, or who are struggling with the same boundaries, or who get excited about the same things. And the biggest thing that this archetype quiz has taught me is we're all different, but at the same time, we are all so similar. And I think that's the beautiful part. Like, yes, we all might be different and have a different version of each archetype, but at the same time, we also all are a lot more common and a lot more similar than we realize. And so that is where the archetypes were inspired from. And for you, based off of your archetype, the link for the quiz is in the show notes. But also, if you already know your archetype, stay listening, because I think this is going to be a really, really helpful episode as we not only transition into the new year, but also we close out this year. We navigate holiday season and festive season and just the end of the year in general. I feel like it can bring up a lot. So, number 1, starting with the heart. My hearts, you lovely, open-hearted, empathetic beings. My tips for you is to really, really straight up, don't take things way too personally this holiday season. I think there's so much that can come up for you and you feel so deeply. And whether you're listening to something, you're watching something, or you're talking to someone, sometimes we feel things so deeply that we start to take it upon ourselves. maybe what you're feeling has nothing to do with you, or maybe it does. But what I really want to remind you is to not take anything so personally. And what I mean by that is to stop making things mean something about yourself. If you are the heart, it is not your responsibility to change your definition of who you are based off of the world around you, based off of your circumstances, based off of the way you handle things. So that's my number one tip for you as the heart, is to honestly just be a little gentler with yourself, be a little kinder to yourself, and feel those big feelings. I think that's your superpower, but give yourself permission to not feel those feelings and make them mean anything about who you are except for what you want to decide. So just remember, throughout this season, throughout the end of the year, you have full permission and full control as to who you are, how you show up, and how everything unfolds. It's always in your control, even if it doesn't feel like it. Even if there's a lot of other energies around you, you are the most powerful energy you have. So that's my tip for you. The second archetype I want to touch on is my dreamers. So my dreamers, I feel like the end of the year, you might be looking at your metrics. You might be reflecting and comparing, seeing if you're hitting your goals. You might be looking at your affirmations or your affirmation jar you made at the beginning of the year to see what has and hasn't manifested. You might be looking at, did I hit those goals? Did I make my numbers? Did I accomplish what I wanted to accomplish? And my biggest tip for you as we go into holiday season and the end of the year is don't let yourself judge who you are and your worth by those numbers. You're allowed to have goals. You're allowed to have metrics that you want to hit, but you don't have to make those metrics everything. Maybe those metrics were the wrong metrics. If you aren't hitting your metrics, if you aren't hitting your goals, I want you to take the courage and look at them again and see if you would reset them. See if you would phrase them differently. Maybe you're putting too much pressure on those goals. And if you're not hitting the goals you've set out for yourself, give yourself the courage and ask yourself why. What changed? What doesn't feel aligned? And instead of taking this activity as something that you're failing or something that you're not doing good at, ask yourself and look at it this way, where it's actually an opportunity for you to self-reflect. It's an opportunity for you to look deeper, and it's an opportunity for you to see where is there resistance and where is there joy. Because oftentimes when we're not hitting our goals or we're not reaching our accomplishments, there's something out of alignment. So if you are feeling a little bit out of alignment, take the time and understand what would make you feel more in alignment and create new goals, create new accomplishments for yourself. And maybe just maybe drop the timeline, drop the 1 year mark, drop the 6 month mark, and maybe even drop the numbers. Maybe shift your goals into how you want to feel. And that goes for the end of the year, but also for holiday season, for when you're going to social events, when you're seeing family. Don't be so hard on yourself to check all the boxes, fulfill all your obligations. Instead, I want you to look at the end of the year and the holiday season as an opportunity for you to just be, for you to connect, and for you to just enjoy. So don't look at it as a checkbox or some list that you have to accomplish. Try to take away the control, try to take away the pressure you're putting on yourself, and allow yourself to have fun through this season. Next up, my manifestors. I love your potent energy, and right now your energy might just be soaring. So if your energy is super, super high, super excited and eager, my biggest tip for you is to not forget to ground into yourself. Don't forget to do the things that you're allowed to slow down, because as a manifester, you are probably feeling so excited and you have so much inspiration right now because this time of the year really gets you lit up. But I want to remind you, even if you have all that inspiration and excitement, use it, move forward with it, but give yourself the opportunity to check in and slow down and spend time with just you. You might feel motivated to see everybody in your social circle and do everything on your list, but I really, really want to invite you to just pause, take it a little slower, and spend time with yourself, because the biggest thing you can do during this time with all that excited energy is you don't want to burn yourself out. And burnout comes when we don't spend enough time with ourselves. We don't take enough time to rest. It's either burnout or you get sick. So I really, really want you to take that time, nourish yourself, maybe go get a facial, maybe just sit in a shower for a little longer than usual. Maybe you listen to a guided meditation a little bit more often. Give yourself the time for yourself, because right now your energy is probably like zipping, right? You're probably so excited, but I really, really invite you to tune in with yourself, because you might be getting sensory overload. You might be getting really, really excited, and I don't want that to turn into overwhelm. And lastly, for my visionaries, this time of year, similar to the manifestors, I feel like it's a very potent time of the year, but instead of it being like very magnetizing and very busy for you, I think during this time of the year, you're most likely feeling that call to slow down, self-reflect, recenter, and really, really get clear on who you are and who you want to be, who you want to show up as throughout the holiday season, throughout all of that. And so my biggest tip for you during this time of year is to really, really not care about what other people are thinking. Don't give yourself the permission to just fall into everybody else's expectations of you and everybody else's desires for you. Give yourself permission to say no. Give yourself permission to be a little bit more aloof or secluded or spend time with yourself. But also throughout this season, let yourself and let your imagination run. Let your imagination be sparked. Let your imagination get so creative, because this time of year is a very, very beautiful time of year for your energy type. And another way you can do that is by tapping into some of your childhood hobbies. Maybe you loved baking, maybe you loved painting, or you loved walking. Whatever you liked doing as a kid, just different activities, even if it's not as like a 5-year-old. When you were in high school, when you were in college, what are those different hobbies you did for yourself just because? Think about it when no one is watching. What do you want to do for yourself? And go ahead and do that. It's a really, really powerful way to spark creativity, to spark excitement, and just have fun with it. My invitation for you as a visionary is give yourself the freedom, the space, and the creative energy that your body is probably craving, and use it. Once you start to tap into creativity in the physical world, you'll be able to tap into it energetically, spiritually, and ultimately start manifesting with it. So those are my tips for you for holiday season, for the end of the year, and in general, no matter what your archetype is. Some key tips I want to share with you guys is, number one, don't feel like you have to say yes to everything. Don't worry about what other people are saying about you. Don't worry about what family expectations are. Really give yourself permission to do what works the best for you. Ultimately, this season is all about the season of love, the season of giving, the season of so much love and beauty. And I want you to, instead of only focusing on giving that outwards, don't forget to give it to yourself. Don't forget to give it to the people you might take for granted. Make sure that you check in with yourself through this time. Go a little slower. You don't have to buy hundreds of dollars worth of Christmas decor. You don't have to show and make an aesthetic home. Give yourself permission to slow down. Give yourself permission to make this holiday season perfect for what your needs are. I hope you have such a beautiful season. And one reminder I want to share with you is, if you want to work with me, I do have a little course going on right now called Embodied Scripting, where together we create a script for the year ahead and for the next year in our life, where we're basically writing the story of our life together. And this technique is something I've created inspired by scripting, but it carries into effect your energy type, your affirmations, all of those types of things. And it's a very, very powerful way to make a script that really resonates with you and your energy type. So I hope I get to see you in there. If you want to join, the link is in the show notes. It's only $197, and you'll be working with me through the end of January. So it's a really great way if you want to transition into the new year with support, with me, with guidance. I'm right there for you. So I hope I get to see you inside of Embodied Scripting. If not, I will see you in the next podcast episode. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. I always get a ton of questions in my DMs from people asking how I can manifest X. The truth is, you can really manifest anything as long as it's for the greatest good. And if you're having trouble manifesting something right now, or you feel stuck on your journey, I have a really beautiful resource I've made for you. It's a free quiz. It's called the Manifestation Archetype Quiz. And it's something that I've created so you can find out your manifestation style to give you more clarity on your spiritual journey. After taking the quiz, you're going to receive the best resources for your specific archetype to help you attract your desires based on where you're at and what you want to create. So you can find a link to the quiz in the show notes, or just head to my website at www.affirmation-addict.com. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you could rate and review the podcast and share it on your social media so I know to keep creating episodes that are inspiring you to manifest. I'm so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and I'd love for you to join the community by following @Affirmation Addict on Instagram. To continue diving into spirituality and manifestation, head over to my website, affirmation-addict.com. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and so much healing energy.